All right, so you're interested in starting an Amazon FBA private label business, but you don't know how much it's going to cost to get up and running. In today's video, I'm going to give you guys a complete breakdown of how much I think you need to start Amazon FBA. Let's get into it. What's up, champs? Welcome to today's video. My name is Sean Peterson. I'm a full-time seven-figure Amazon seller. And in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the startup cost of Amazon FBA private label. We're going to be breaking down everything that you need to know to give you guys a better understanding of what budget is necessary to launch a business on Amazon. Before we dive into it, do me a favor, like the video, subscribe, drop a comment. Let's come over here and get right into the breakdown of the startup costs for private label. So the first thing that we're going to see on our list is the optional cost of creating an LLC. Me personally, I like creating an LLC. You can actually pay somebody like LegalZoom $99 plus the government fees to do it for you. I just rather do it myself, not have anybody do it. But again, I'm comfortable with that. So for you, depending on the state that you live in, it might be a little bit more complicated and you might need to pay somebody to do that. So that's going to be around $100 plus government fees. Again, it's optional. You do not need an LLC to start selling on Amazon, but it's something that you will definitely want down the road. The next thing is an Amazon seller account. This is an absolute must. There's no way around it. You're going to get what's called the professional plan, which is $39.99 a month. And if that scares you that you have to pay $40 a month to have an Amazon account, don't sell on Amazon. But that is a monthly cost every single month. Obviously, once you get up and selling, they just deduct it from your account balance and that's not coming out of your pocket. But in the very beginning, maybe the first month or two, that's going to be a cost. The next thing is product research tools. You absolutely need these research tools to eliminate the guesswork, to understand what is a good product, what is a bad product, what to avoid, what to actually pursue. And these research tools are going to help you. So me personally, I use Helium 10 and it's going to be with my discount code 50% off for the first month. It's going to be $48.50 for that first month. If you use my other coupon code AMZ Champions 10, it's going to be 10% off for life. So it's going to be $87 a month. Trust me, that's going to be one of the best investments that you make in your business. Again, investing in you, yourself, your business, that is where you see the biggest ROI, period. There is no stock, crypto, real estate project that can produce a better ROI than yourself. Yourself is something that you need to understand how much value there is. Once you build the value, build the knowledge and the skill sets, that's where the ROIs are just infinite. So the product research tools, it's going to be around $80 to $50 a month. Then we've got UPC barcodes. This is an absolute must. You need barcodes in order to create an Amazon listing. So what I recommend is the gs1.org barcodes. You can buy one barcode for $30. Again, every single product that you launch, you'll need to buy a barcode. So that is to launch one product, $30. The next is product photographers. This is something, again, and you'll see on the next few that we talk about, there's kind of a range between kind of prices. And you'll see with product photographer, I recommend anywhere from $100 all the way up to $700. And there's probably photographers that will charge you $2,000. You don't need to spend that much, but for a good photographer, you are going to spend maybe a little bit more. You can go on the budget-friendly side, maybe do it a little bit cheaper. Technically, you could do it for less than $100, but for me, product photography is super important and I don't want to take any shortcuts. So I'm going to budget in $100 to $700. Me personally, I'm going to say at least $200 for a product photographer. That is a good kind of budget. You can find somebody that will do it for you and they'll do a fantastic job. So product photography is super important. Do not take shortcuts. That is something that you do want to budget for when launching an Amazon product. The next is the cost of a sample. So you're going to want to order a sample, test quality, check to make sure everything's legit, everything looks good. And that's going to range anywhere from 25 bucks to 200. It could be a little bit more depending on how many samples. Maybe you have to open up a mold, but for the most part, my samples have ranged anywhere from like 20 bucks, 25 bucks to the most I've ever spent was like $200, but that was on like one product and I customized everything, had to open up a new mold. But I would say $20 to like $60 in that range. It also depends how big your product is, how much it's going to cost to ship, but that is going to be a cost. And just kind of a pro tip for you guys, one thing that you can do when negotiating with the supplier is you basically break down and you tell them, hey, if I order this sample and I do the bulk order with you, so you spend 20, 50 bucks to get the sample, what you can say is, if I do the bulk order, so say you order 500 units, can you credit back the cost of the sample? So they'll credit you back $50. And that's something to basically make it so the sample costs you absolutely nothing. Again, if you order from multiple suppliers, well, obviously you can't do that, but you could do that with the supplier that you're looking to work with. So that's something that you can do, is get that credited to your account once you place the bulk order. The next thing, and this is where it's probably the most complex and most subjective on the product itself that you pick, and that is cost of product. So how much are you ordering? Depends how much you're ordering. That's going to affect how much you need to budget. What is the competition like? If the competition is a lot more and there's a lot more demand, well, you're going to need to order more. So that's one thing to take into consideration. The next thing is it a larger item? If it's a larger item, well, shipping costs are going to be a little bit more. The next thing is, if you order a more expensive product, or a product that, let's say, sells on Amazon for $50, $100, well, your landed cost or your cost per unit is going to be a lot more. So that is where, honestly, the cost of the product could be anywhere from a couple $100 all the way up to 10, 20, 50, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, that doesn't mean you need to have hundreds of thousands of dollars to launch a product, but there are products that will cost tens of thousands of dollars if you want to go down that route. For me, I'm not necessarily going after products that are going to cost me 20, 50, 100 grand. My cap and the most I've ever spent on a product launch was just under $10,000. Now, that was kind of a test order. Once I had the concept proven, then I dumped $25,000 into the next order. So technically, that did cost me basically 30 grand to do that product launch, but luckily I had the budget, and that was kind of my strategy, is, hey, I just want to test it. I don't want to risk all 30,000, it go wrong, and then I'm out 30 grand. I'd rather test it, prove the concept, and then go out and place a little bit bigger of an order. So this is where the cost of product, what I recommend, it honestly depends on the product that you find. And personally, you can find products, this is just my personal opinion, you can find products to launch that will cost you less than $1,000. Okay, I have $1,000 to $10,000. That's just kind of, hey, $1,000, $10,000, anywhere in between there. Technically, you can find a product. Technically, you could find a product for less, and technically, you could find a product for a lot more. So for me, kind of what I recommend is like $3,000 to $4,000, $2,000 to $4,000 you can get away with. Obviously, the bigger the budget you have, the more product selection you have to choose from, and the more flexibility you have in customizing, and you're not as limited. Again, there are products that you can launch for less, but there are products that will cost a lot more. So again, it's subjective on the product that you pick. The larger budget you have, what I tell people is you have a wider selection, a wider variety. The smaller the budget, you're going to have to be a little bit pickier on the products you find. And another thing is, I think those products that are a little bit cheaper, it's like for you to launch a product that for $200, $400, that product is not going to help you become financially free. Now, it will build a good foundation to set you up for financial freedom, but that one product is not going to generate 5 figures profit per month, just period. It's not going to happen. So you have to kind of have certain expectations. If you are coming in with $500, $1,000, just understand that that product that you're launching is probably not going to generate 6, 7 figures. You're going to have to slowly scale up, reinvest into more inventory, into a second product, third product, fourth product, and little by little, yes, you can grow it. And so that's why I tell people, look, if you have a bigger budget, you can scale a little bit quicker and get to your end goal or whatever your end goal is a little bit faster. So cost of product, I know that was a lot to kind of absorb and break down, but anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000. Again, it could be less, it could be a lot more. The sweet spot, $2 to $4 grand, that's great. If you have like $5 to $8 grand, even better. Okay, the more money you have, the better, in my opinion, and it just gives you a wider selection. So that is one thing that a lot of people ask is, hey, the cost of the product. That's kind of my 2 cents on that topic. The next thing is launch cost. This is, again, completely dependent on the product that you pick. If you pick a product that is super competitive, it's going to cost a lot more to launch. If you pick a product that's not as competitive and you have a good differentiator, you've done your market research, it might cost you nothing, $0 to launch that product. Again, I don't plan on, for me, I'm always budgeting some sort of product launch expense. I don't want to just bank on, hey, this is just going to take off. I've had a handful of products. Out of the 50 plus products that I've launched on Amazon, I've had like 2 or 3 that have just taken off without any launch. I literally post it, run just a few PPC campaigns, and all of a sudden I'm ranked to page 1, just cranking. But for the most part, the other products, I'm spending money to launch them to the first page, and it might take me a few weeks, a few months to become profitable. So for product launch, again, it could be from $0 to $2,000. I would say just budget in around $1,000. Again, depending on how expensive your product is and depending on how much of demand your product has, it could cost a little bit more to launch that particular product. So anywhere from $2,000 to $2,000, again, it could be more, but $1,000 will give you some room, some wiggle room to spend on PPC and to get that product launched and ranked. So if we kind of add up all of those now, we have the monthly subscriptions around $107. We have the one-time payments, the UPC codes, the photos, the samples. That's another $330. So right there, it's close to $500. Then we have product costs, which is the $3,000. I'm going to say $3,000. Again, if you have more, the better. If you have less, you can make it work, but it just becomes a little bit more difficult. You just don't have as big of a variety to pick from. $3,000 plus $1,000 to launch. And if you do that, the grand total is $4,500, and that is a very reasonable startup cost for Amazon FBA private label. This is conservative. Maybe it's not conservative because it could be a lot more, but it could be a lot less. For me, this is what I think is fairly reasonable and very legit of a good budget to start selling on Amazon. $4,500, you have a pretty good selection of products to pick from. Again, you can do it with less, you can do it with more. This is just to kind of break things down to help you understand that, look, you've got sample costs, you've got product costs, you've got inventory, product launch costs, you've got product photography, you've got software tools, you've got the Amazon seller account. You've got those different things that, yes, they're going to cost you money. But again, if you're scared to invest a couple $1,000s into your business, entrepreneurship is not for you. You have to understand that you have to be willing to invest your money, invest in your business. You have to have money to make money. It doesn't just magically appear out of thin air. You've got to be willing to invest in your business. And if you do that, that is where you're going to see the massive success that you want selling on Amazon. So that is my breakdown of the startup costs of Amazon FBA private label. I hope you guys enjoyed this in-depth breakdown. Let me know your thoughts down below. What did you start with on your first product? For me, I started a lot less than $4,500. I just tell people, look, have $4,500. It gives you that flexibility. It gives you some wiggle room. I started with a lot less, but things have changed and my strategies are a little bit different. So I'm going after a little bit more expensive products. So I want a little bit bigger of a budget. Again, you can start with less. You can start with more. I'd love to hear how much you started with your first product in the comments down below. And if you guys are new, like the video, subscribe, drop a comment, and we'll see you in the next video.